HOVERAir X1 Pro and Pro Max drones are now both officially here. Well, okay, not actually here because they haven't started shipping yet, but they are now both officially announced to the public. And yesterday I was actually invited to an exclusive hands-on sneak peek event held by HOVERAir in New York City, where I was able to get my hands on the physical drones themselves, test them out, ask a bunch of questions, and ultimately be able to make this video to help you guys decide whether or not you should rush right out and purchase these drones, or maybe hold off a little bit until we get some more in-depth reviews. So yeah, that's what this video is gonna be. Hi, my name is Gabe at Digital Tech Reviews and Tips, and if you're new here, the point of my channel is to help you make better purchasing decisions so you're not wasting your money on unnecessary gear and having it piling up around you, stressing you out and whatnot. So with that in mind, let's dive right into the video talking about the 5 biggest upgrades or features that are new with these drones that you need to know about. So by far the biggest upgrade that both of these drones received over the HOVERAir X1 is in the camera department. And to be honest, it was much needed. I reviewed the HOVERAir X1 about 3 or 4 months ago, and in my review I basically said like, yeah, this is a cool idea, good drone, you know, pocketable, stuff like that, but the camera is really lacking at 2.7K, small sensor, like not great low light, you know, just it was not usable for serious creative endeavors. That might be about to change with the Pro and the Pro Max drone. So starting with the Pro, you get a 1/2 inch sensor, 4K 60 FPS video, and 12 megapixel photos, which all in all, if HOVERAir just stopped there and didn't announce the Pro Max, I think most people would be pretty satisfied and be like, yeah, that's enough to add a shot to my vlog, to document my travels. Like, that's video quality and photo quality that's, you know, maybe not the most bleeding edge and, you know, eye-wateringly high resolution, but still pretty impressive. And it's amazing that they put that in a small drone, and we go, good job, HOVERAir. But they weren't done there. They wanted to really throw down the gauntlet for DJI. So we also have the HOVERAir Pro Max drone, which packs a 1 and 1.3 inch sensor somehow onto the frame of that 185 gram drone. So if you're not familiar with sensor sizes, 1 and 1.3 inch is the same size as the Mini 4 Pro, the Insta360 Ace Pro, and many other higher end smartphones on the market. So that's very impressive, but it didn't stop with just the sensor. They also have a higher end processor, which is able to crank out 8K 30 FPS video. I think this is the first drone on the market to shoot 8K, at least consumer drones. Probably will never use that other than testing, but hey, it can do it. And the big thing about it being able to do 8K video is it means that it also has enough processing power to do 4K video at 120 frames a second, which that is something that I think we're going to be seeing used a lot by like skiers, snowboarders, skateboarders, and whatnot. Like when you're going off that jump, being able to crank it down to like 20% speed and whatnot, and really seeing you rotating or seeing you completely crashing, like that's going to be cool and something that has me excited to see like the creative potentials of this product. Now, otherwise, like other upgrades that the Pro Max drone gets over the regular Pro in the camera department, for one, you get raw image quality. So you're getting 10-bit RAW and 14-bit RAW with either 12 megapixel or 48 megapixel resolution. So very impressive, even though I probably would never use that 48 megapixel option given that it's quad bared and you lose some color resolution and whatnot. But still, it's cool to have the option if all you care about is numbers. And if you're not a still photo fan, guess what? In the video department, you also have another big upgrade, which is you get HLG HDR video. And yeah, again, another thing that I'm just impressed that they were able to put into this smaller drone. So really, when it comes to the image quality of these drones, like the specs are very impressive. I was able to quickly test them out while I was there in New York City, and the video looked pretty good and the tracking and stuff was good and whatnot, but we're gonna have to wait and see until we get some more in-depth reviews. So if you really just care about image quality, I would probably not rush out to buy these drones right away, but continue listening to the other big features because those might convince you that you do need these drones in your life instantly. Now, the fact that these drones have a micro SD card slot is a big upgrade over the HOVERAir X1, and it's something that I really didn't expect to see. Like, I thought they'd have just stuck with the internal storage, kind of like the Insta360 Go 3, but the fact that they're putting a micro SD card slot really emphasizes the fact that these are meant for more professional use, because any professional is not going to want to have to deal with a smartphone app or plugging the drone into their computer. So yeah, these have a micro SD card slot. They also do have internal storage with 32 gigabytes in the Pro and 64 gigabytes in the Pro Max. But if you need more, the micro SD card slot can now hold up to 1 terabyte of storage. So go wild with that 8K video. So the third biggest upgrade that these drones are receiving over the previous HOVERair X1 is something that's not actually in the drones themselves or included in just the drone kit, but is actually an accessory. So with the launch of these two drones, HOVERair is actually launching a whole suite of accessories, which I'm not going to talk about in this video, but yeah, there's a bunch of accessories you can now buy if you want to spend more money. But the big one that's super important and really game-changing is the beacon. And what that allows you to do is basically put it on your person, whether it's in your pocket, on your shirt collar or whatnot, and then once it's powered on and you're wearing it and the drone's in the air recording, the drone will actually somehow, I don't know how, using proprietary communication technology, be able to follow you more accurately, and even when it loses sight of you with visual sensors, it can still follow you. So they kind of took a page out of the Skydio's book with that, I think, but very impressive. And the beacon also doubles as a controller with the ability to see a downlink from the drone up to 1 kilometer away, change settings, and even attach joysticks so you can have a traditional controller and fly the Pro or Pro Max drones like a real drone. Now the surprising thing is actually the beacon and joystick are both backwards compatible with the HOVERair X1. So if you have that drone, potentially you don't need to upgrade to the two new drones, just look at getting the joystick and the beacon, and now you have a bunch of new capabilities added to your old and existing drone. So very impressive there, and thank you HOVERair for making it backwards compatible. But yeah, if you're getting the HOVERair X1 Pro and Pro Max, I personally would consider the beacon almost a necessity. It really just unlocks so many capabilities, but you don't have to rush out and buy it right away because they're not bundling it with a discount package and whatnot. Just get the drone maybe, and then if you decide you need the beacon, go ahead and get that. But I personally think I'm going to be using the beacon quite a lot. With the HOVERair X1, one of the things that always made me kind of nervous was the fact that there was no sensors on the drone to prevent it from crashing into stuff. Now, with the HOVERair X1 Pro and Pro Max, that is at least 25% fixed, because now backwards you do have sensors on both of the drones. So the Pro drone gets time of flight sensors on the back, which kind of I think shoot out infrared beams and are able to sense if there's an object and how far away it is and then stop the drone, which that's pretty good, and that in most situations that will be enough to see a wall. But the Pro Max actually also gets a vision sensor as well as the time of flight sensor. So I think the vision sensor is able to give the drone a better sense of what's behind it, maybe navigate it around it, and also maybe do some positioning. I'm not exactly sure. I did test it out at the event, having it fly backwards, and it did stop before it hit a wall. And also actually it picked up my tripod one time and was able to stop itself before it hit that. So it seems like it is decently usable, but don't really rely on the fact that it has sensors, because also there are no sensors to the side and there are no sensors to the front. So you really still have to think what is this drone going to do in this situation? Is the space all clear? But the fact that it has that fail-safe of having those sensors in the back is a nice thing, especially for people who want to use the zoom out drone shot or also the dolly track. So rounding out the upgrades over the HOVERair X1 are the flight characteristics of the Pro and Pro Max drones. Notably, you can fly longer, faster, and now over water. So what does that mean? Well, flying faster, these drones now fly up to 25 miles an hour, and they advertise them in a lot more situations as being able to follow you bike and ski. I think 25 feels like a decent enough speed for a bike. Most e-bikes, they max out with pedal assist at around 20 miles an hour. So that's nice to see that it will be able to keep up with you in those situations. Maybe a wind will make it fight a little more, but it seems like that might be enough buffer that it could follow you. We'll have to see. Flying longer, you now get 16 minutes battery life on both the Pro and the Pro Max versus 11 minutes with the HOVERair X1. So that's 30-40% increase in battery life. Again, that's similar to the EPA, that this is their marketing materials and stuff. This is best case scenario. We'll have to see in actual use what it's like. But I did find that with the HOVERair X1, the real life battery was kind of 8 or 9 minutes. So we can expect probably that the 16 minutes is actually more 13 or 14. So still pretty respectable, but not as much as a DJI Mini 4 Pro. Now, flying over water, that's something we take for granted with DJI drones, but with the HOVERair X1, it could not do that. Like, it would basically lose any positioning sense of where it was, and it would essentially just be forced to land, which is not good when you're over water. So now if you do stuff around water, you can rest assured that these drones are supposed to be able to fly over water and be perfectly fine. We'll have to see, but that's another thing that might make this drone pop up onto your radar as potentially a purchasing option. So yeah, anyways, that's pretty much it for the upgrades that these two drones have over the HOVERair X1. If there's anything I forgot, maybe I'll put them there, pew, 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 like little upgrades that I neglected to mention. But I'm sure the last thing you want to know, and you're like, come on, Gabe, just talk about it, is the price. And the price is the only thing that doesn't feel like an upgrade. It feels like a bit of a downgrade. Well, I guess on their end, they're getting more. Anyways, they are now $500 for the HOVERair X1 Pro and $700 for the HOVERair X1 Pro Max. So that's a significant upgrade over like $350 for the HOVERair X1. But if you look at the features that are available, especially in the camera department, it does make sense why they're charging more for these drones, because I mean, just take like the Insta360 Ace Pro, which is the same sensor as the HOVERair X1 Pro Max. And that's a camera that goes for $350 to $400. And now you're taking that same action camera-y thing and putting it on a little flying drone that's able to track you and, you know, hover in the air and also communicate wirelessly with your phone or potentially a beacon. Like, that's impressive. And I do hope we might see some discounts come Black Friday or whatnot, maybe dropping them more down to the $600 range for the Pro Max and like a $450 for the Pro. But for now, yeah, those are the prices of the drones. Should you go out and buy them? Well, that's up to you to decide. I personally might wait a little bit until we actually see some real reviews. I know personally I'm going to be getting these drones sent to me, or one of the drones sent to me, and being able to test it out and review it. So hopefully I'll be able to down the road give you a better opinion on whether or not you should actually purchase these drones. But I know it is going to be tempting to like bite the bullet and just pull the trigger and buy them on the Indiegogo, because they are offering a lot of discounts. I think 40% in the first 48 hours or something like that, they said. I don't know. Either way, I wish you luck fighting the FOMO, but ultimately it might be a good option if you've been waiting a long time to get a drone to pull the trigger and just buy it on the 40% off, but maybe not, and hold off and get some firmware updates and reviews and then buy them on Black Friday or something like that. But either way, that's it for this video. It was supposed to be just a quick film, but I just kept talking on and on about these drones. If you do have any questions about the drones, I'll try to answer them as best as I can. So leave them down below, comment, subscribe, like, I don't know, do what you guys do. Good luck flying out there, fly safe, and as always, peace out, bye, and have a nice day.